Chinese hotels are making American engineers question everything they thought they knew about futuristic design. You're about to see 10 hotels that look like they were beamed down from the year 2125. These aren't concept renderings or fantasy projects. They're real, they're operational, and guests are checking in right now. The gap between what China is building and what the rest of the world considers cutting edge isn't just wide, it's 100 years. And it starts with a hotel that turns the entire concept of luxury upside down. InterContinental Shanghai Wonderland. Imagine a hotel that doesn't reach for the sky, it plunges into the earth. The InterContinental Shanghai Wonderland descends 288 feet into an abandoned quarry, and the design looks like something from a civilization that mastered subterranean living. This isn't just a building in a hole, it's futuristic architecture that inverts everything you thought hotels were supposed to be. The glass facade clings to the quarry walls, each level stepping down into darkness like a descent into tomorrow. But here's where the design gets genuinely shocking. 2 floors are completely underwater. You can sleep in a suite where floor-to-ceiling aquarium walls surround you, fish gliding past while you're cocooned 288 feet below ground level. The aesthetic is pure science fiction, illuminated levels cutting through stone, waterfalls cascading past your window, an internal atrium that glows like a portal to another world. This is what hotels look like when gravity stops being a constraint and depth becomes luxury. But if you think building down is radical, wait until you see what happens when a hotel decides to float. Sheraton Huzhou Hot Spring Resort. Picture a massive glowing ring hovering over water, and you're starting to understand the Sheraton Huzhou Hot Spring Resort. This isn't architecture, it's a spaceship that decided to land on a lake and never leave. The horseshoe design wraps around itself in a perfect arc, all glass and curves, no straight lines anywhere. During the day, it reflects the sky and water like a mirror from the future. At night, it lights up like an orbital station, this enormous glowing crescent floating on the surface. The futuristic aesthetic is relentless sweeping curves that flow into each other, a design vocabulary that simply doesn't exist in Western hospitality. You approach it across the water and it looks impossible, like someone rendered a hotel from 22nd century and then actually built it. Every angle reveals something that shouldn't work. Glass wrapping around curves that tight, a structure that massive, appearing weightless. But the Sheraton was just testing the water. What came next decided to abandon traditional geometry entirely. Morpheus Hotel Macau. Zaha Hadid looked at the future and carved it into 40 stories of pure sculptural insanity. The Morpheus Hotel doesn't just look futuristic, it looks like liquid metal frozen mid-transformation. The entire center of the building is hollow, this massive void punched straight through from bottom to top. And the structure wraps around it in flowing geometric curves that make your eyes work to understand what they're seeing. There are no right angles here, no traditional walls, just this exoskeleton of white lattice that looks organic and alien simultaneously. From one side it's a tunnel, from another it's a wave, from above it's a figure 8 twisting through space. The design changes depending on where you stand, which is exactly what futuristic architecture should do, refuse to be one thing. At night, light pours through that central void, and the whole building glows from the inside out like it's powered by something beyond electricity. Every surface flows into the next, every line curves into impossibility. This isn't a hotel. It's what happens when you let the future design itself. And somehow, even this wasn't bold enough for what was coming next. Chimelong Spaceship Hotel, Zhuhai. They didn't build a hotel, they built an actual spaceship and put beds inside it. The Chimelong Spaceship Hotel sits there like it's ready for launch, this massive disc-shaped structure that looks like it escaped from a science fiction film and landed in Zhuhai. The exterior is gleaming metallic silver, smooth and seamless, every surface curved like aerospace design, because that's exactly what this is, spacecraft aesthetic applied to hospitality. There are no traditional hotel features here, no columns or lobbies you'd recognize. Just this enormous horizontal disc with rings of light circling it, porthole windows, and a silhouette that belongs in orbit. At night it lights up in blues and whites, and you half expect it to lift off. The design is so aggressively futuristic that it makes other modern hotels look quaint. You don't check into this, you board it. Every detail screams tomorrow. The smooth hull-like exterior, the way light plays across metallic surfaces, the sheer audacity of making a hotel look like interstellar transportation. But if one spaceship seems extreme, what happens when you multiply that futurism by 8? Sunrise Kempinski Hotel. 8 massive spheres rise from the water like they're emerging from another dimension. The Sunrise Kempinski Hotel is bubble architecture at a scale that shouldn't exist each sphere. Enormous, each one glowing, all of them connected in this chain of impossible geometry. This is what happens when someone designs hotels for a civilization that lives in pods. The spheres aren't just round, they're perfectly smooth, gleaming in the daylight, transforming into luminous orbs at night. Each one is its own world, connected by bridges that look like umbilical cords between space stations. The futuristic aesthetic is overwhelming. No corners, no edges, just these pristine geometric forms. Floating on water, like they're defying physics. From a distance, it looks like a necklace of planets. Up close, it looks like you've stepped into a future where organic curves replaced every straight line humanity ever drew. The reflections in the water double the effect. 16 spheres, half real, half mirror image, all of them glowing with this otherworldly light. And just when you think circular futurism has peaked, another design takes that geometry and plates it in gold. Grand Lisboa, Macau. A golden lotus flower explodes into the sky at 47 stories, and suddenly every other hotel looks like it's from the wrong century. The Grand Lisboa, Macau is what happens when you take a flower, make it futuristic, cover it in gold, and build it taller than most skyscrapers. The petal design radiates outward and upward, each section catching light differently. The entire structure shimmering, like it's made of liquid gold frozen in bloom. This isn't subtlety, this is futurism screaming at full volume. At night, the building transforms into something even more alien. Lights running up each petal, the gold reflecting every spectrum, the whole thing looking like a beacon from an advanced civilization. The design shifts as you move around it. From one angle, it's a flower. From another, it's a crown. From above, it's a starburst of impossible geometry. Every surface is curved, every edge deliberate, every detail engineered for maximum visual impact. You can see this thing from miles away, glowing gold against the skyline, refusing to blend in, demanding attention, like architecture from a world where subtlety died and spectacle became the only language. But extravagance was just getting started. Tianzi Hotel. 3 ancient Chinese gods stand 41 stories tall, and they're not statues, they're a functioning hotel. The Tianzi Hotel takes figurative architecture into territory that feels like hallucination made real. Fu, Lu, and Shou rise into the sky, their robes flowing down the building's facade, their faces staring out over the landscape, every floor carved into the contours of divine bodies. This is futurism, colliding with mythology at a scale that breaks your brain. The gods' garments are guest rooms, their heads are penthouses, their arms wrap around corners, every window is part of a face or a robe fold. The design is so audacious, it borders on absurd, except it works. At night, lights trace the contours of the figures, and 3 illuminated deities dominate the skyline like they've stepped out of legend and decided to offer room service. The aesthetic doesn't exist anywhere else. Nowhere in the world has anyone attempted to make mythology this literal, this massive, this functionally futuristic. And if divine architecture seems like the peak, wait until you see what's visible from space. Sanya Beauty Crown Hotel Complex. There's a crown so massive, astronauts can see it from orbit, and it's a hotel. The Sanya Beauty Crown Hotel Complex doesn't just dominate the skyline, it dominates the entire concept of scale. This circular megastructure rises like a jeweled crown for giants, with crystalline protrusions jutting out at angles that make the whole thing look like it's been cut from a single impossible gemstone. The futuristic design is relentless geometric panels, reflective surfaces, a symmetry so perfect it looks computer-generated, because it was. but then they actually built it. The sheer size rewrites what you think buildings can be. This isn't architecture for a city, it's architecture for a civilization that thinks in continents. At night, the entire crown lights up in colors that shift and pulse, and you can see it from miles in every direction. This glowing monument to futurism that refuses to be ignored. The design language is alien-faceted like a crystal, massive like a monument, detailed like jewelry, all at a scale that makes your sense of proportion collapse. But for pure visual shock, one more design was waiting. Hotel Éclat Beijing. Imagine a building made entirely of light and angles, and you're looking at the Hotel Éclat Beijing. This isn't a hotel, it's a giant geometric crystal that someone hollowed out and filled with luxury. Every surface is reflective glass, cut into sharp angular prisms, the entire structure faceted like a diamond that fell from the future. The design is pure refraction. Sunlight hits it and explodes into 1,000 different directions, the building literally fragmenting reality around it. Each glass panel is angled differently, creating this kaleidoscope effect where the hotel looks different every second as light shifts. It's futuristic minimalism taken to an extreme. No curves, no softness, just razor-sharp geometry and mirrored surfaces that make the building appear to dematerialize in front of you. At certain times of day, it looks like it's made of frozen light. At night, illumination from inside turns each prism into a glowing shard, and the whole structure becomes this luminous puzzle of angles and reflections. The aesthetic is cold, precise, and absolutely from tomorrow, like someone designed a hotel using only mathematics and mirrors. But not every futuristic vision is about hard edges and metal. Banyan Tree Nanjing Garden Expo Resort. The future isn't always chrome and glass. Sometimes it's architecture that looks like it grew from the earth itself. The Banyan Tree Nanjing Garden Expo Resort flows across the landscape in organic curves that make the buildings look alive. This is futuristic design that merged with nature so completely you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Structures rise and fall with the terrain in sweeping arcs. Rooflines ripple like waves frozen mid-motion. Water features thread through buildings like the architecture is breathing. The aesthetic is tomorrow's harmony, not dominating the landscape but becoming part of it with design language that's utterly modern yet somehow timeless. Curves flow into curves. Buildings wrap around gardens. Paths dissolve into nature, then re-emerge as structure. At night, soft lighting makes the whole resort glow like bioluminescence, this gentle futuristic vision where technology and earth achieved perfect balance. Every angle reveals another impossible integration, a building that's half stone, half garden. A pool that becomes a lake, that becomes architecture. This is what hotels look like when the future decides to stop fighting nature and starts dancing with it. And yet, even this organic futurism had one more rival. Hilton Huzhou Nanchun. The largest spherical structure on Earth isn't a stadium or a dome, it's a hotel sitting on a lake. The Hilton Huzhou Nanchun is a perfect sphere of glass and steel. This absolutely massive globe that rises from the water like a planet that decided to touch down and offer 5-star accommodations. The scale is staggering. You approach across the lake, and this enormous reflective sphere dominates everything. Curves so smooth and perfect, they look rendered, not real. The futuristic aesthetic is overwhelming in its simplicity. Just pure geometry at impossible size. Mirrored surfaces reflecting sky and water, until the sphere seems to disappear and reappear simultaneously. At night, the entire globe glows from within, this luminous orb floating on darkness like something that escaped from orbit. The design is so clean, so perfectly circular, so monumentally futuristic that it makes every other spherical building on Earth look like a practice run. This is what happens when someone says build the biggest sphere possible and China responds with on water and make it luxury.